its fleet and logistics at the very least. Yeah, Lady Theodora chose to grant noble status to the House Viserion, but the other nobles which served in the Expanse for millennia did not welcome the decision. It has led to difficulties. Want to find out what's going on here and who's the real mastermind behind this all? Where should I start? Afraid I cannot help you. Talk to the representatives of the other houses? Okay. That's what I'm already working on. Thanks, though.
No peace in my wake.
Gotta be freaking Detective Weaver over here. Governor Drysdale, surrounded by his retinue, who are dressed in expensive gowns and finery. The matching color scheme of their outfits, a striking physical resemblance among them, suggests that they all come from one family. Lordship, thank you for giving this case your undivided attention. Wish to hear your reason again. What's making you think the Viserions behind the plot? The logistical and economic problems gave rise to the initial rumors. We tried to find the person responsible for the cause of Voltaire's return. The investigations showed that some of the documents inside the Adeptus Administratum were forgeries. In fact, my son Cornelius, don't trust him. Your Lordship, I can ascend the young monk bows as awkwardly and nervously licks his lips. I assure you that my humble person is undeserving of your attention. Holds a prestigious position at the Administratum Palace, so he has the influence that would be required for some of the shenanigans that are going on. It's also thanks to him that we found the perpetrators of the forgeries, who admitted to acting on the House Viserion. I'm guessing they're not alive to testify of it anymore. What do you make of this letter I found? Things looks like another piece of evidence incriminating the house. Perhaps they truly did intend to kill you, or at least cause a stir to help escape the custody. But they're not idiots. All the assailants were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors are rare indeed. The Gabrants do have them in surface, but this could have been done intentionally. And I am confusing you. Tell me more about your son, Divestem. Thank you for your interest, your Lordship, but I am not worthy of it. Well, that tells me you are worthy right now. Show some due respect, forgive him. Your Lordship, this is the first time he's had the honor of attracting the attention of a rogue trader. Tell me more about your job, Cornelius. What do you do? I manage the documents and records related to the economy of Draconis. You probably know how scrupulous the workers of the Adeptus Administratum are. I'm afraid that a more detailed explanation of my duties would mirror the administrative purposes of the Administratum. Too long and overly detailed. How did you manage to find the forged documents in the bureaucratic hell that is the Administratum? When compiling reports on the last cycle's supply chain, I noticed inaccuracies and discrepancies in the figures. With the help of other clerks, I managed to find several other documents. Cornelius stammers and slowly swallows noisily. Comprehensive data analysis has shown that the discrepancies were caused by intentional tampering with data, thus leading to logistical problems that were practically unsolvable. Father and I managed to single out the Administratum clerks responsible for tampering with the data. Following a heated interrogation, they confessed that they were following the orders of the house, someone from House Viserion. Everything was supposed to look as though they were the ones suffering losses from logistical and economic problems. But the House Viserion does not have access to the Adeptus Administratum. There is no conceivable way they could do all this in a place where they hold no power. Before replying, the governor's son nervously adjusts his expensive frock. I think the right amount of money can open any doors. Please, what's the true reason for your nervousness? The young man's pupils suddenly dilate. He stands at attention and replies to you in one breath. For the first time I've spoken to you face to face, Rogue Trader. We're afraid of saying something wrong or forgetting something important. The governor closely watches his son. His tone changes, now sounding strict and curt. Do you wish to tell the Rogue Trader anything? Place your hand on your weapon. You're speaking to the Rogue Trader. My patience is running out. See a flash of terror in Cornelius' eyes and stares at the hand of your weapon. your hand on your weapon. He speaks quietly and confusedly. Without raising his head, forgive me, your lordship, I cannot do it anymore. This lie has gone on too far. I cannot no longer control it. Truth is, the whole logistics problem was caused by a single error in the numbers. My mistake. Nani? Looks generally shocked and enraged. When I discovered my mistake, it was almost impossible to restore the supply lines. Then I was approached by someone who said they were a friend. Did not give me their name, and I never saw their face. Promised to fix the problem. All I had to do was pretend that the Viserians were responsible for the mistake. And as for the rest of the evidence, they promised to arrange it all. And... Urban curls his hands into fists and knuckles turning white. What has he done? Could you? Your lordship? This is my fault. I trusted my son, and I failed you in doing so. I beg to have mercy. You called my family honor into question, Urban. Nevertheless, I harbor no desire to kick a man when he's down. Lord Captain, the confession you have obtained means that the House Viserion can no longer be cleared up. Can now be cleared of all charges. But it will still not do. But we still do not know who's behind the forgeries, the riots, the plots, the assassination attempt. Someone is committing their foul deeds and sowing chaos right under your subject's nose. To leave a stone unturned would be dangerous. How do you two communicate by letter? I received a letter out of the blue one day. It was unsigned. The person writing already knew about my erroneous calculations. Or erroneous. Anyway. He offered to help me cover up my misdeed. In return, I would name House Viserion the one who sabotaged. Yeah. All I had to do was gather together some documents and reports that were listed in one of the letters. That and keep my mouth shut. Your son has found courage to admit his mistake. I will try and find some compassion in my heart for him. Thank you, lordship. And as far for your position, I think you'll be reassigned to the role of lesser responsibility. Return later. Yeah.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
We already had that conversation. Discovered a dead body, a member of your house, right here in the palace. Died kneeling in prayer. Alan, it can't be. Tell me about him, Toriana. Alan's one of the lower-ranking members of the house. Despite his advanced age, he never held high office, but has forever striving to better his position, being beyond his abilities. Many members of my house struggle to cope with the misfortune that befell Kivagama and our family. Some members could not reconcile themselves to our new position. Alan was one of them. What happened to him? His oculars are fixed on the door, her fingers restlessly clenching the fabric of her dress. Time to keep silent is long gone. The fortune of future of Von Valencia's trade dynasty. Your house is both at stake. You lost Kivagama, a truly devastating blow to every member of House Gapro. I lost all hope for the future, and my kin their sense of purpose. We needed time to recover and chart a new course for ourselves. We were and still are more capable of doing that. More than capable of doing that. But I will not deny the other houses have offered us their assistance for their own self-serving ends. Perhaps Alan decided to take up one of their offers behind my back. Gapras, or perhaps only some of them, are definitely involved. But I suspect that they are not behind the plot. Could be, yeah, Hanan Gapra could be nothing more than a puppet in the hands of a deft puppet master. Must expose who's ever behind it. What do you suggest? Interrogate the heads, slice them as sourbanks. Once we've been pulling the strings. Once we uncover the new evidence, announce guilty verdict. We'll publicly execute. Guilty party will be publicly executed before you pronounce the verdict. It's just focusing on each head of the house. Wait, on each house in your indictment speech, and I shall observe them. Okay. I've known those people far longer than you have. I know their gestures, habits, and behavioral quirks. Okay. Hmm. Then you there.
Oh, one step at a time.
I didn't get to talk to him about the letter, did I? I found a dead body in the palace. A member of the House Gadprag was slain in front of the altar. Do you know anything about it? Was killed in the palace? And no one noticed? But how? The wardens posted at every altar. There was no one... Yeah, there was no one near the deceased. The wardens had left their posts. Did you order them to do so? Emperor forbid, your lordship. Governor helplessly throws his hands in the air to signify his powerlessness. Your negligence is stunning, Urban. An assassination attempt followed by a mysterious death, and yet you are here, oblivious to everything. The road trader can justifiably accuse you of allowing the nobles be killed in the palace, and of failing to even notice it. Maybe so, but it is for the rogue trader to accuse me of negligence, not you. Lordship, my deepest apologies for my impudence. Nothing matters more than my honor. I shall send the servants to deal with this immediately. Did you see Makarai's Sailback today before I arrived? Did not see him myself, but perhaps... Have any of you seen him today? Nobles talk quietly amongst themselves, and then a middle-aged woman with tall, extravagant hairstyle replies to you. I think my sister and I saw him sitting on a bench some distance away from the palace entrance. You think he was accompanied by a gentleman? Forgive us, your lordship. Cannot make out his face. Lead me to that place? Of course. Is this the bench? You could just said the bench across the way.
The Emperor
Recognize
favors me
this
today.
bouquet? How Sailback usually serves this wine? Okay. That doesn't bloody help me much. Continue there. This could be like Conrad that's been instigating this ship.
What lies beyond?
Discovered the body of Hanan Gaprak in the palace. He had this note on him. Do you know anything about it? I'm not sure it's relevant, but perhaps you should know, since the Ford Kiva Gamma Gaprak's been faring poorly. To say the least, they have been looking for ways to enhance their influence. We already know this. They have not approached us, of course. It's too shameful to seek help from those you consider inferiors.
They will see. Oh, yes.
Hmm.
They all will see.
I'm restless.
Am I ready for the verdict? Can I talk directly to Vincent again?
Patience. My nerves
Okay,
are frayed.
let's do this. He said, talk to about every family directly. Charges by David Dyson were fabricated. House Rosarian had nothing to do with the orchestration of the riots or plots targeting their rogue trader. However, real perpetrators are still in this very throne room. Then Seneschal nods at you to continue, then shifts. Urban Drivestem, you exhibited inexcusable negligence by failing to question the possible involvement of any other family besides Viserians. We have discovered that the attempt on my life was orchestrated by a member of House Gappering. Governor closes his eyes, and fear and shame getting the better of him. Some faces in the crowd look confused and surprised, but you see more wearing expressions of self-satisfied contempt. Abel looks to the governor and suddenly shakes his head as if to say no. Okay. Toriana, a member of your family, orchestrated an assassination attempt against me in my own palace. And though he has already been found dead, this act is reason enough to forever brand your house traitors. Mocking whispers creep through the crowd. Toriana is trembling faintly. She still does not raise her head, perhaps out of fear of meeting her fate face to face. Hard gaze softens. The elusive gesture visible to only you conveys a message the grapper is guilty of only her own poor judgment. I know that House Salbak has offered their help to the Gaprak, and then the late Halen Gaprak seemed to accept their offer. I suspect that you are responsible. Salbak furrows his brows and slightly cocks his head. He averts his gaze for the first time, as if trying to remember or make sense of something. Notices some restless movements behind him. Gaprak noses his eyes and scrutinizes mechanized Salbak and his retinue standing behind him. His sharp eyes light up and he catches the sight of something important in the crowd. Seneschal looks at you and nods. Puppeteer has given himself away. Pronounce the verdict. The conspiracy against the rogue trader, I find. The air in the room is frozen with a tense, almost electrified silence. All nobles, some with fear and other with reverent anticipation, await your verdict. Has Salbak guilty? Seneschal, you may take. Please not the wife. You may take her from here. I must admit, I always admired your bluntness, but just this once, I had to say goodbye to the promotion because of my But just as I wanted to say goodbye to promotion because of my dislike for your intrigue, you and your family might soon say goodbye to your heads. Tell me, in your now blunt fashion, are you loyal to the House von Valentius? Narrows his eyes. I am loyal, Viserion. You're not lying, but someone else is. Someone who is poised to destroy both you and your family for her own gain. Zacharias does not have the time to respond. Regina, who stands beside him, raises her arm to slap at the elderly Seneschal. Abelard deftly catches her wrist. Oh, it's the wife! Oh no! Slapping her hand right before it hits his face. Her dainty hand is adorned with a massive augmetic ring topped with a thin spike dripping with venom. Dodge, bitch! Salbak shifts his focus gaze from his wife to Abelard and then back. The stiff arrogance has vanished from his postures. Regina, you? Yeah, mother? Upon realizing what happened, Hector recoils from his mother. Zacharias, your bluntness makes you open a book. When I talked about helping the gap racks, you had no idea what I was referring to. Your wife, on the other hand, her eyes started shifting like you would not believe. Regina Sauerbach, you alone betrayed the rogue trader, jeopardizing the prosperity of the Von Valencia's trade dynasty. Alone are responsible for your unmasking. Yeah, why would you do this? Because Argonis is serving an imposter. The true heir of the Protectorate bears a different name. And when Kunrad appeared on Argonis, he paid me a visit. It opened my eyes to the truth of the situation. Theodora was killed by one who had unwarily taken under her wing. Zacharias is too narrow-minded to even consider opposing the rogue trader, and even the illegitimate one. So I had to wait for the right moment. And the disappearance of the Lord Captain could not come a better time. It was quite simple to trigger a chain of events in Dargonis so that people remembered Master Volkia's past service. It seems that many of your subjects do not actually consider you worthy successor. It's obvious why the Sarians. Because when stripped of central protection, this house is the weakest one of all Dargonis, yeah. They are also particularly disliked by the governor's family, which would have been easy to bury the Viserians under accusations of heresy. Who aided you? There's no way you managed all this on your own. Of course I didn't. I have too many helpers to list them all, but rest assured there are plenty of them. Just as there are plenty of people who follow Master Voltvia. My death will not change anything. The true rogue trader will come and take his rightful place when the time is right. Why did you kill Halen Gamprak? He was a good agent, but he was also a coward. He came to me just before the formidable rogue trader arrived. He was ready to confess everything. I suggest that he plead for the Emperor's forgiveness first. And that's when you did the whole ring thing, yeah. Abelard, the sentence has yet to be carried out. Finish this. About sentences against you. Does the rogue trader truly condemn only the rotten apple or the entire barrel? I will not exterminate an entire noble line for this, that is loyal to me just because of one traitor. Traitor's ring? Nice. In that case, Regina Sauerbach shall be subjugated to intense interrogation followed by execution. I mean, there definitely wasn't anything special between us. I was just doing it to piss off Macarites. Honestly. Oh god, what is going on there? I ordered rogue trader Sauerbach is sentenced to death of heresy and crimes against yeah. I'm guessing it's meant to be her. Oh, it's right underneath there. Oh my. The nobles disperse, sated by the bloody performance. Abelard approaches you, his steps firm. Lord Captain, you have my thanks. A rogue trader should not waste time on the matters. This is more than just matters. This was literally insurrection inside my protectorate, so yeah, that his servants and trustees can resolve. But in this case, your intervention was necessary, not just for the sake of your, my family, but for your trade dynasty as well. Evidently, Conrad's accomplice continued to plot against your protectorate. I fear we've not had the last of such scoundrels. Thanks to your lordship, thanks to you, Lord Captain, House Viserion is saved, although it came close to being wiped out as a result of scheming without impotence within. Sometimes I think about how much I could teach them. I could ensure that they survive in the future without me. What are you going to do now? No, you and your family must be prepared for the next time something like this happens. That is true. They need to be prepared, and I want to believe that they'll be able to take care of themselves. I need time to reflect upon what happened and my role played in it. I think I'll be ready to resume this conversation later when we're back aboard the ship. Okay. Oy vey. Well, that escalated. But I think that's a fine place for me to stop for now. Thank you so much for watching. I might be back later, we'll see. But otherwise, if not, Happy New Year. And, yeah, I'll see you in the stream next year. Until then, take care, love your faces, Mr.